Hello, friends and members of the Creation Research Society. As you know, coming up this July, July 24th through the 26th, we have our annual CRS conference. I recommend everyone attend conferences like these to find out what's going on, the latest and greatest research in the creation movement. However, on Thursday, that's July 24th of this conference, we have our workshops. And so today with me, I have the gentleman that will be leading the geology workshop. There are always a few workshops to choose from. And so the geology folks here are going to be leading some interesting activities for participants on that Thursday workshop. First off in the morning, they're going to start off with a field trip. And so with us, we have Zachary Klein. Zach is a longtime member of CRS, a fantastic field geologist, and he knows Missouri geology extremely well. So Zach, welcome. Tell us what to expect.
Yeah, thanks, Joel. I'm actually out here at one of our field trip sites here along Highway MM, just south of St. Louis. So for our field trip as part of the geology workshop, we're going to begin a few miles east, of my current location at Mastodon State Historic Site. We've done some field trips with Missouri Association for Creation. We've done a couple of trips there in the past. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of the state park, of course, talk about the mastodon bones and other animals that have been recovered from there. And then we're going to make our way west a little bit to somewhere near my current location, where we get a nice cross-section of some of the Paleozoic rocks that underlie the state park. And this is right on the border of the Salem Plateau. So this region of high elevation that kind of exposes some rocks that we don't get to see across much of the Midwest. And this is a great stop. We can get out, we can explore a little bit, look at some of the different formations and sedimentary features, and some fossils, including my friend over here. See if I can get this in the picture. This is an orthocone nautiloid. So we do have some cool fossils out here in Missouri. We'll talk a bit about that. We'll talk about the connection between the fossils here in this location and similar deposits in other places, including the Grand Canyon. And then if we have time, we're going to continue our journey a little bit further west, where we can see some exposures of the beautiful St. Peter sandstone, which is this cross-bedded, quartz-rich sandstone. It extends over much of the Midwest, and it's the base unit of the Tippecanoe megasequence, which I know Dr. Clary will appreciate. That encompasses most of the rocks that we have out here in Missouri. And of course, we're going to talk about all of this in the context of the Bible's framework, creation, flood, and the post-flood period.
So I have to say, I'm a little jealous as a biologist that you guys are spending half your day out in the field. Makes me think of what we should be doing in our biology workshop. So you're starting out in the field with Zachary Klein in the geology workshop. And then in the afternoon, it doesn't stop there because Dr. Tim Clary, he is the ICR geologist, and he's got some neat things planned in the afternoon. A little more inside, I understand. What's going on there?
Well, if you've ever wondered what a megasequence was, we're going to actually look at what a megasequence is. And we're going to define it, talk about it a little bit, talk about the different megasequences that there's been 6 of them that have been mapped across North America. And I've been mapping them the last 10 or 11 years across the world. And so we're actually going to get a chance to kind of get old school, look at some of these charts where I began looking at these, what's called the Kasuna data, which is really a compilation of geological columns based on work by state geologists and oil company employees and things that put together these columns for an oil and gas organization back in, I think, about 20, 30 years ago. But the rocks don't change. And so the columns are still there. And so we're going to kind of start a simple way to actually construct our own columns, kind of show how the columns were constructed that I use in my research, at least the ones that weren't from oil well data and that sort of thing. But we're going to kind of go back to the old school way, get the pencil and paper, some graph paper, and we're going to plot things up, hundreds of meter by meter, and make some columns. And then ultimately, if towards the end of our workshop, we're going to try to make some cross sections across part of the United States, going east and west and north and south through part of the United States. So we've got all these charts that I've printed out so people will be able to work around different tables. And I'll have colored pencils and irregular pencils. And we're going to lay things out and lay some of our columns out on certain sequence boundaries and see what they see. Ultimately, it'll show the record of the flood. Ultimately, everything we see, these sedimentary rocks, like Zach's doing in the morning, looking at the Tippecanoe, we're going to look at all of them, what's represented from kind of west to east and north to south across North America and get some insights on how the flood really progressed. But it's a chance for people to really, get their hands dirty looking at what a mega sequence is without going in the field in the afternoon, but actually see kind of how you construct these columns if people want to do more of this research on their own. So I think it'll be a good chance to really learn what a mega sequence is, how they were defined, what makes those erosional boundaries that have been, we talk about they're bounded by erosional boundaries. Well, what are those? We'll talk about a little of that in an introduction and let people turn them loose and say, move from group to group. So we'll be able to have like 4 or 5 stations where people can walk around looking at different parts of North America each time. And then I'll kind of direct the participants to work on certain ones so we can make a cross section, which will be kind of cool. I think you'll see some insights.
So it sounds like when you say workshop, you mean workshop. That's great.
Old school.
That's exactly what these are designed to be, a little more hands-on, a little more interactive type. So both of you have been to our conferences before. Can you briefly just say what's different in how a workshop feels versus the main conference, which would occur on Friday and Saturday? Zach, what do you think?
So I've had the opportunity both to attend and to lead these workshops. And I think that what you really have going for you is the extended time to really get in the weeds, to go in deep on topics that might just get a passing mention in an abstract or in a presentation or a conversation in the hallway. So it really gives you the space to have those sort of sustained in-depth conversations with people that you don't get to have every day, or that maybe just are easier to have in person. And you've got chances that you have the right person in the room, much higher in a workshop setting, which is always great. They're just a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to what Dr. Clary outlined. That's going to be a blast, I think. So yeah, I highly encourage, if you're coming to the conference, definitely make it a priority to be part of one of the workshops.
Tim, anything you want to add to that?
Well, I just want to say one thing, that you don't have to have any prior knowledge of geology really for these. I mean, these are going out in the field is always great to see the geology in the field. And even what I'm going to show and present it's pretty simple and straightforward. And you'll see that it's not like a mysterious thing that we do. So, but I think the conference in general, you get a lot of information, a lot of talks, you listen to these things, but you don't get the interaction and the chance to ask questions and interact with other people, not just the leaders of the field trips, but the other people on the trips. And so there's a lot of learning experience for even the people that lead it, like myself and Zach, when you go on these workshops or participate in these workshops. So the conference is wonderful, lots of information, but this will give you a lot more chance to kind of let it soak in and any questions you might have, or even people that want to, be critical of things that we do. There's a chance to kind of interact and we can bring a lot of things up that we have more time to do because we have about 4 hours for each, 3-4 hours for each. So it's a little more laid back, but hopefully a little fun as well.
Fantastic. Well, let me say, you guys have set the bar high for workshops. This is exactly what we hope to see in our workshops, a lot of hands-on experiential stuff. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time today, and we look forward to seeing you this summer.
Thank you very much.
Looking forward to it. Thanks.
For everyone out there, if you want to get in on the geology workshop, register for the CRS conference and you will have the opportunity to choose a workshop to be involved in, and you can choose the geology workshop this summer. Thank you.